What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to day 45 of Autodesk Fusion. We're almost halfway there. Alrighty, folks. What we got here is we have an Automata box with two cams assembled and the followers on them also constrained. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, from the top-down model, continue where we did from yesterday. So from yesterday, what we got so far is we have this Automata right here where the crankshaft will revolve, stays in place, and none of my side walls move. Okay, so from there, I'm only going to keep the parts active that I actually need to keep active. So my side walls, my back wall, and the bottom, actually I do not need for the rest of this activity. Once we get everything kind of assembled and thrown in there, we'll make them active again. Now it makes it helpful because it makes the parts that I could potentially mess up or be in my way when I'm doing my constraints to be in the way. And so this just gets them out of the way. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I need to create the holes for my Automata. So we're going to do a new sketch on top. And then I'm going to hit the P key on my keyboard, and that allows me to project. And that shows me that my crankshaft is going through the center of this right here. All right, so that way I know when I start to make my holes are lined up. Now for the sake of ease, let's do a 10 millimeter hole just so we can see things a little bit easier. Alrighty, hit finish sketch. So what I'm going to do here now is extrude both of those. Now I prefer to do cuts since there's going to be no threads on these holes and just makes it easier on my end. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to build my follower rods and then my cams. So I'm going to create a sketch. Let's do a circle. The diameter of that hole is 10 millimeters. Click finish sketch. And then I'm going to go ahead and extrude that out some distance to where it is okay. So I'm going to go on this, and when you're extruding something, remember we're going to click on new component. That way over here it is recognized as something different. So this is my follower rod. I do like this follower rod, so let's go ahead and fillet it. That way the bottom piece right here is usable on the Automata. So what I'm going to do is for this edge, we're going to do a 5 millimeter fillet. Now the reason we do 5 is because it perfectly rounds off the edge right there. Alrighty, I like this, and so since we're going to use it and we need 2 of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, click on move copy, and create a copy. And what this will do for me is it'll create an exact copy of the follower rod, but also make a new component. So I got follower rod 1 and follower rod 2. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and move both of these actually because I want to rotate them upwards. So let's move, rotate upwards, and click OK. Now the reason I want to rotate these upwards is that I'm going to constrain these with these holes right here. But before we do that, we have to make our cams. So let's go ahead and make our cams. So let's do an eccentric cam. And the diameter of that is going to be 4 because my crankshaft is 4 millimeters. I know it's a little small, but we are doing okay. Go ahead and do that, and we got it as a new component. We're going to call this component our eccentric cam. If you don't know how to make eccentric cams or those other cams, I got other videos, which I'm doing this rather quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and make my hex cam. So polygon, Hex Cam, let's do that. That size looks all right. And this inside diameter is going to be 4 millimeters. Click OK. We're going to extrude this out 10 millimeters, make it a new component, and then also click OK. So we got our follower rods, we got our hex cams, and we got all the pieces we need. So I'm going to go ahead and start to join stuff together. So let's make a joint. Let's click on the top of my follower rod and click on the center of this hole. Now you have to kind of be careful on when you're doing your joints, is because if you join the wrong edge, it might do something interesting and something odd. So the motion is going to be a slider. And I know it's going through my crankshaft right now, but as long as it's staying in that correct orientation, we're looking good. So I'm going to click OK there. Do another joint, and we're going to join the top of that with the top of that. Do another slide, make sure everything's okay. Looks good. Alrighty. Now what I'm also going to do is move these upwards and then go ahead and get them out of the way. So if you notice when I move these upwards, there's this position tab that pops up, and we're going to capture this position, meaning I want this to be my neutral. It means if I were to rotate anything or bring anything out and about, we revert the position and everything goes back where it's supposed to be. All right, now let's join the center of, make sure we get this right. There we go. The center of my cam with the center of my crankshaft. Now by default it's on sliders, so we're going to go back and make that a revolute. All right, and we want to go ahead and line this up with whichever cam we want it to be in contact with. Click OK, and there we go. Now we got one more thing to do, and that would be to join the center of this hex cam with the center of my crankshaft. Now you notice I'm clicking on the center there because I did my extrusion from symmetric, and so that allows me to do that. As long as you get on here and you're able to line up appropriately, that will be good, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make sure that regardless of whatever happens, these cams will rotate with each other. Go ahead and click OK. Now, right now, this will act kind of accordingly, but when we start to do our contact sets here in a moment, this will cause it to rotate freely. So if you notice that this can rotate freely and this can rotate freely without necessarily affecting this. So the first thing you want to do is to get these cams to be in whatever order you want them to be. And so you can rotate them about. You can edit their angles. So right click and you can do edit joint or drive joints, and you can set it to a particular angle you want it to be at. For now, I'm just going to say this is okay, and we're looking at just the constraints and making sure that we're all set up nice and neat. Now, what we're going to do is under the assembly tab, we're going to do rigid group. Now this rigid group will be after you set everything where you need it to be. I want this, my cam, my crankshaft, and my hex cam to all be rotating with one another regardless of what I'm rotating. So here's what I mean by that. So now I can rotate the handle and it rotates the other pieces. I can rotate the cam and it rotates the other pieces, and the hex cam. Now this is going to be kind of important because when you start to enable contact sets, if this is not right, you'll actually cause some problems down the pipeline. So this is a good point of, are the cams in the spot where I need them to be, and does everything rotate as expected? If you're saying good there, let's go ahead and enable the contact sets. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue. And the joints, let's enable contact sets. There we go. And right click, I'm going to do new contact set. So we're going to contact this body with this body. Click OK. So the only thing I've told Fusion now is that these two bodies cannot go through one another. These ones can. These ones cannot. And so it stops it. Won't let me do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make that other contact set work. So let's do right click, new contact set, these other two bodies, click OK. And now these can't go through each other either as well. Alrighty. Now, if we notice that we do a little test run, we're into a little bit of a problem. My follower rods do not go back to neutral position. So what you have to do is you have to call the rest point of your cams, of your follower rods, sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click right here, find that value. So regardless of wherever you set this at, this is now saying I want this follower rod, if it's not being pushed, to go back to this position. So I'm going to copy that number, so Control C. And then under my joints tab for my sliders, So this is slider 7. I'm going to edit this joint and give it a rest value of that number. Now this tells me is that when I rotate this piece, it will always go back to my original spot. We need to fix this for the Hex Cam now. So let's go ahead and get the Hex Cam figured out as well. So double click on the joint. So the slider joint right here, if you double click on the body, you're not going to do what you need to do. You need to double click on the joint prompt right here. So this slider joint prompt is just 2 parallel lines. So I'm going to right click, copy that. Under slider 6, we're going to edit that rest value to be that number. Click OK, and then we are done. So if I rotate this, everything looks like it's wonderfully nice and constrained. Let's go ahead and bring in our bottom, left, right, and back sides. And then that way, when I rotate this now, we see that all of our pieces are nice and constrained. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this video. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know. We covered a lot of material, so you may have to go back and relook at some stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the comment section. Just say, hey, you forgot about this one thing, or even tell me how to do it better. Alrighty, guys, good luck, and I'll see you on the next video.